How are you doing, man?
I'm very well, Courtney. You're asking how I'm doing. How are you, sir? But it's a pleasure to sit with you.
I'm blessed to be here, man. I'm so happy to be here at this age and still feeling like I want to play music.
I was going to say, what do you say at this age? I mean, how old are you?
I'm not old enough. I'm old enough.
There you go. But you're wearing it well, no matter how old you are.
1964.
Damn.
So that makes me, like when you call up the call center and they say, well, how old would you be on your next? And I'm like, because I'm them age, right? Yeah. But honestly, I got my Xbox. You know what I mean?
We say you're still up to the times. You still know what's good.
I'm waiting for Tekken to come out. So I'm still, I'm not saying that I'm a teenager, but,
You don't feel old.
No, that's the thing about jazz. Jazz is constantly opening its doors for new exploration. It's not about only being in one style. You can be, whatever the next style is, you can have some of that.
Let's talk jazz. Black Notes from the Deep.
Oh yeah.
That's the name of the new project, the latest project. Interesting name. How did you come up with that?
I don't know. I usually have a long essay title, and because I'm an instrumentalist, I try to get as much into the explanation of the title. So it's like a story, and then it edits down. But I'm now old. I don't have to edit nothing. Just leave it raw. It's Black Notes from the Deep. To me personally, it's just about my experience or our experience as black people in the United Kingdom in this particular time.
You're back on the tenor, the tenor saxophone. What made you pick up that instrument after, I think, a good 10-year break?
It's enough years. The great Ernest Ranglin, guitarist, the guy who arranged My Boy Lollipop, asked me to be a part of his final tour. He had a final hurrah tour date with some festivals, and he said, would I come and play? And I decided that I would go back to the tenor for Mr. Ranglin. And I was on the island of St. Kitts practicing. I haven't got a fence in the property, and the cows were coming up to the window, and we were doing duets with the tenor saxophone and these cows and goats. And then I went on tour with Mr. Ranglin, and he's still incredible. He's still playing like he's a teenager. And it was such an experience that when I started thinking about doing a new record, I decided, you know what, let me go back to the tenor. I had such a great time with Mr. Ranglin. Let's go back to what I know, the tenor saxophone. And I actually came back to the tenor saxophone with different ears, different feeling, a different attitude, a different intention. Before, when I was playing the tenor saxophone, it was more like a kind of an exercise thing. I was playing from an exercise book. This is page 1, paragraph 1, 1B, and then I would play that, and then I would play the next line. Now, after having the break, I kind of can't do that. I kind of don't want to do that. So I'm approaching it differently.
Your first album charted top 40. All those years ago, many moons ago.
When we used to have charts.
Yes, when we used to have charts. Well, we still have them. They're just not respected in the same way now, aren't they? And it would have been a big effort to get into the top 40 as a jazz artist. So yeah, congratulations on that. As many years ago as it was, but to be as successful as you've been over the years, pick up awards, done as much as you've done in your journey, releasing this particular album, do you still get the same kind of buzz of anticipation? Are you still kind of, trying to expectant on how it's going to be received?
Even more so. I get more of a buzz now because it's on my own label. Right. There's not
Freestyle Records, right?
Yeah, it's that's a distribution company.
All right, okay.
But I've been running a label now since 2004, and
you can tell us the name?
It's called Destiny Records, and I have other artists that have released material. I have a recording studio. It's more of a buzz now because I'm not sitting in a room with 10 other individuals who are, putting their 10 pence in, and maybe you should do a track with Madonna singing lead vocals, or there's none of that. It's kind of my vision from start to finish now, and it is risky, but I really do feel more committed to this project rather than having somebody else's ideas. And as I'm getting older, I'm getting more experienced. And I'm not saying that I don't listen anymore. I listen even more. I listen even more to what's going on. But putting all my money, effort, time, energy into this project, into these projects, is so more fulfilling. When I go out and perform live and I see the live audience and their reaction to this seed of an idea and its fruition, it's much more rewarding. And a lot of people give up, but I ain't giving up. You know, I'm still going for it.
Is there I mean, you flirted with so many music genres over your time. Is there like a time or a season that you loved, miss, would like to return to, or see a return to? Are you comfortable where you are now? And what do you make of the musical landscape as it is today?
Well, I'm lucky that being a jazz musician, you can embrace cultures. That's what this gift of music has done to the world. You know, out of such a terrible experience, the Afro-American experience, this amazing art form has developed, this language has developed, which is inclusive of everybody. I'm really happy with what's going on today. You know, the scene is so exciting. There's musicians from all over the world. It's just, there's no closed doors, you know? So I'm really happy to be alive in this period of time and to be able to allowed to experiment. I talked to a saxophone player called Branford Marcellus quite a lot about, boy, I couldn't get this happening, and this person closed the door, and I couldn't get that happening. And he says to me, well, Courtney, you have to realize that in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, it was worse. So this is a great time to be a musician right now, to be an artist and express yourself. So I'm smiling.
Are there any contemporaries that you'd like to work with now? And I say that respectfully, because I'm sure most would like to work with you. So is there anybody out there that you'd like to work with, like of a new age?
The scene is really nice now. And what I like about today's artists is that the way that they approach the music business. There was a time when I started when the best you could do was get a saxophone and hope Freddie McGregor calls you for a gig. But now, from the get-go, guys are thinking about artwork, album covers, you know, making a video. I heard a young artist not talking about releasing singles, but making a video to go online. That was the imperative. You know, so things have changed quite a lot, and there are a lot of artists that's out there now who are spitting some fine lyrics.
Care to share any of those that you?
Well, it's hard, you know. I mean, the guys I really respect are like Kano, you know, Skepta, you know, Sway, F Your X. I think we have such a beautiful way of expressing ourselves with whatever we're given with. You know, the man them take pig trotters and make a meal out of it. You could give us the worst bit of the meat and we'll still make something sweet out of it. You know, and it's the same thing with music. If you're not going to give us a bassoon or a French horn to learn on, we'll make it with a mobile phone and 8 bars, and we'll spit some lyrics over 4 bars of music. And these guys are so creative. And I, hands off, hats off to these guys, you know, all off, because it doesn't matter what instrument you play, it's what you do and what you project. My favorite jazz artists are the guys who, after a couple of minutes, you forget they're playing a trumpet and a sousaphone. You forget the instrument, and the message comes through. Like Hugh Masekela, he has something from his South American community. You know, Fella. You know, these artists have chops, but the message of their community and their standing and their culture is more important than, you know, this piece of metal or the piano. And that's what I like. And I think that's what these artists, these younger artists are doing right now. I don't think they realize it because nobody's ever taught them that way, that they're expressing their culture and the instrument that they're using is called music. But some of them are realizing this, and they're actually using elements of their culture to express. And it's sometimes they're just talking about their road, or around the corner, or brushing their teeth, or the lyrics are about some very small thing. But trust me, it's very loud. It's very worldly, and people need to know. They will know. One thing you have to understand is that the person that thinks they know something realizes that they don't know nothing. Because for me, as a musician, every time I learn a new scale, a new phrase, a new tune, a new jazz standard, I realize that I didn't know. So these lessons are kind of eye-opening. And